Darren Jackson and Hibs inflicted their first defeat of the season. That was before Gaza earned rave reviews for his Champions League performance against Borussia Dortmund. He also played a major part against Celtic in the league.
Well, that's good play, good footwork. Looking for Cleland, great header! Good play by Solenko. Of course, there's Gascoigne racing through the middle. It's great play for Rangers. And Gascoigne has scored! It's a magnificent goal by Gascoigne.
Wins over Motherwell, Aberdeen and Partick put Rangers 4 points clear after 8 games. But a thumping defeat by Juventus brought them down to earth in time for the visit of Hearts.
There's the buzz going around the ground as he picks up the ball. It's Gascoigne!
Aberdeen were Rangers' semi-final opponents in the Coca-Cola Cup, and they were ready for them.
Dodds, still Billy Dodds. He scored! It's a brilliant goal by Dodds! Here's Booth. And Bernard. Glass with the outswing cross. Billy Dodds!
Braith then took a point in a 2-2 draw at Starks Park. That was followed by a hammering at Ibrox by Juventus and 2 league wins before Roy Aitken took Aberdeen to Ibrox.
Usually taken down by Jess. Now he has some space to utilise coming forward. Lining us up the shot. It's a classic from Jess. There by Glass, here's Mikhalichenko. Kept again by McCall. The equaliser by Oleg Solenko.
This one, remember, was marred by a series of incidents which led to a police investigation. No charges were brought, but the headlines were damaging enough. The game needed a lift and got it when the old firm met again. Celtic went in front through Andreas Tom.
Shot here for Laudrup. And it's a great goal. Here's Tom who strikes it. Hughes as well forward. Claims for a penalty kick there as he was challenged and it's given. On Collins. Starts his run. And it's gone in. Gascoigne strikes it in. And it's there. Super Ali does it again. It's a slack one by Boyd, almost allowing Solenko to come in. He's got it again. And it's gone in. That's a own goal. So Celtic with it all to do now. Josh McKinley gives the cross. It's Van Hooydonk. And that's in. Well, this is quite incredible.
Gaza marked his last match before a ban with the second in a 2-0 win at Hearts. But he was sent off in Dortmund as Rangers bowed out of the Champions League. Gordon Durie got the winner against Partick in their last match. Rangers are still top, but only by a point now. An Old Firm game coming up. Walter Smith is keen to restore the 4-point cushion this evening. Rangers played 17, won 13 of them, drawn 3 and beaten just once by Darren Jackson's penalty at Ibrox. 42 points, they lead the way, scored 37 and conceded 10. Away from home, they're unbeaten, of course. Drawn 1, won 7 of the 8. That's great form on their travels. 8 for McCoist, who's the top scorer, 6 for Durie, 5 for Solenko and 4 for Gascoigne. 24 booked. The last 3 league games, they beat Hibs 4-1, beat Hearts 2-0 and beat Partick by a 1-0. And let's hear from Walter Smith, who's with David.
Walter, tonight's game sees Rangers' league season reach the halfway stage. Leaving aside the disappointment of the European campaign, just how pleased have you been with your domestic form?
Well, we've been very pleased with the way we've started. It's probably been as good a start as we've had in the 8 or 9 seasons that I've been here, and we've got to be pleased with that. It's been a strange season. We had disappointments in the League Cup and in Europe, but our league form's been very good, only losing 1 game at home to Hibs so far.
For the first time in a long number of years, Celtic are providing the biggest threat to you. Does that give you and your players even more of an incentive to go on and win the championship?
Well, I think it does, because we realise even at the start of the season I thought Celtic would be the team to chase us this season, and that's been the case. They've shown a consistency they haven't done in previous seasons, so we have to react to that as well. We've done not badly so far, so we'll continue to do that, I hope.
Do you see this season's championship going right down to the wire?
You can never tell. I mean, it's a bit early. Halfway stage, if we manage to win this evening, then we've got a 4-point gap at the halfway stage. You would settle for that. It's probably been in as good a position as we've been in over many seasons, and I just hope that we can keep our consistency going. We've had a few injuries in the early part, as we have tonight, and we've got not got a very settled team. If we manage to settle down a little bit, we would hope that the results would keep going the way they have done in the first half of the season.
Well, tonight's opponents, Motherwell, are fighting for their very life at the bottom of the table. Do you see that as something that will make them even more dangerous opponents tonight?
Well, they never give any indication of that position when they played Rangers. They've always played very well, even at the start of the season when they played us. So it's something that I think they're in another false position. Aberdeen found themselves after a few seasons of challenging for the championship down near the bottom of the league last year. And I think Motherwell are in similar circumstances, and I've no doubt that they'll get out of the problems they're in at the present moment, although I hope it's after tonight.
Good luck, Walter. Thanks.
Thanks, David.
Yes, Walter Smith conceding nothing, and quite complimentary about Motherwell, who he says are in a false position, or are they?
No, I think they are, to be honest, because they have played some nice stuff. I think after the first 6 games of the season, Richard, they had won 1 and drawn 5, and they looked as if it was going to be hard to beat. This fixture, both for Celtic and Rangers, is always a very difficult one. Motherwell are always liable to do something against the top 2, and this is a dangerous trip for Rangers tonight. Walter Smith with 1 point as a cushion at the moment. As he says, he would like the 4, would have settled for the 4 at the start of the season. Can you see him getting the win tonight? Yes, I can. I think Rangers, although, as Walter says, has got a few injuries, so have Motherwell to their credit, but I can see Rangers just being too strong. They're away for them. 1 draw out of 8 games, 7 victories, scoring goals. I think Rangers will be too strong for Motherwell. And yet, as he says, disappointments in the Coca-Cola Cup. We saw that. Yep. Beaten by Aberdeen, and again in the Champions League, which must be a major source of frustration to them. Well, it must be a major source of frustration, because they have somebody like Gascoigne coming in, they have Laudrup, who's been there a season or so, and they're expecting great things from them in the big-time games, and I don't think they really played to their form at all when they had the opportunities, and I think that's what disappointed Walter Smith. He took a lot of criticism over his selection in the teams for the Champions League, but I can't blame the manager. I think he's gave everybody a great opportunity to make themselves big names, and they just didn't really play to their form. Strange, isn't it? A manager with a record like his, and yet still they're having a go at him. Well, anybody else would love to even have half of what he's got, and yet the Rangers support in particular keep picking away at Walter Smith, saying it's time for a change. He's got 7 in the bag already. He's got them into that champions position every season, and yet, okay, they let themselves down, but I don't think it's Walter Smith. I think the team hasn't played to its form, and sometimes, unfortunately for Rangers, it's run against some of the best sides in Europe. The Juventuses of the world have just been too good. And of course, Celtic have won the European Cup, and until Rangers do, that will be a source of annoyance to Rangers fans. Well, yeah, that plus the 9 in a row titles that Celtic have before. Correct, which they're chasing. OK, live football tonight from Fir Park. It's Motherwell against Rangers. We'll check the teams when you come back.
If today was the last day of your life,
you must have known something was going on.
Don't you touch me! What would you change?
I can make you so happy.
Just maybe, if you just felt this a little more upset, it wouldn't have happened.
Who would you love?
I want it to be right, really right.
You still have that hotel room? Hotel rooms can be nice.
What would you decide?
Whatever you're gonna do it.
Richard Gere, Sharon Stone. Intersection premieres 10 o'clock Saturday, Sky Movies.
between us, your cat couldn't be in better hands.
I am a passenger, I stay under glass. I look through my window so bright, see the stars come out tonight. I see the bright and hollow sky over the city's ripped backside.
To keep your family's clothes wonderfully white, Fairy introduce a new improved liquid that gives your whole family's wash a brilliant new fairy whiteness. And it's still as caring as it's always been. If you want them to be bright, new improved Fairy is a touch of brilliance for your family's whites.
Drink at the bar? Get real, I mean, look at us. We can get in there. You're mad. Come on.
For great hair, no fuss, there's only one wash and go. No shampoo can beat it for cleaning or conditioning. So you get really clean, really manageable hair. For great hair, no fuss, just wash and go for it.
With new Kodak Image Magic, you can enlarge your favorite photos in minutes. With a touch of magic, you can make photo quality enlargements directly from your prints, even if you've lost the negatives. So this Christmas, make the most of your photos with Kodak Image Magic. Available at Kodak Express.
More live football from Sky Sports tonight from the Bell Scottish Premier. Motherwell against Rangers. ...191 meetings down the years. Motherwell have won only 31 of those. Despite that poor record, they have won 4 of the last 9, mind you. Underlining what Charlie was saying, they're capable of surprising the big boys. Mind you, at Fir Park, Rangers have won 12 of the last 18, 55 in all of the 95 that have been played. 9-2 Motherwell, 7-4 on Rangers for the win, 12-5 the draw. And the teams are in with the referee, so let's go to Fir Park and join Davy Provin, who's got all the details for us. Davy, good evening.
Good evening, Richard. Thanks and welcome to Fir Park. Clearly a big night for both clubs this evening. Rangers, of course, their lead at the top has been cut to just 1 point after Celtic beat Falkirk on Saturday. For Motherwell, well, just 14 points out of a possible 51. And that means they have to find some form and find it quickly to get out of that relegation zone. We've had a look at the team sheets. We can go through the Motherwell side first. Well, ironically enough, apart from the 2 old firm clubs, Alec McLeish's side have the best defensive record in the league. It's been scoring at the other end that's been the major problem for them. Only 2 goals in their last 8 games and 18 fewer than they had at the same stage last year. Still no Tommy Coyne or Dougie Arnott up front, and that means Alec Burns and Andy Roddy will be asked to provide the firepower. At the back, Chris McCart still absent through injury, and that means a back 3 of Martin, Krivokapic and Denham, with a midfield of Sean McSkimming, Billy Davis and Paul Lambert. Moving on now to Rangers. Well, both Paul Gascoigne and Oleg Salenko suspended for this one. Other absentees through injury, Ali McCoist and Stuart McCall. And at the back, no Alec Cleland or Gary Boland. And that means places tonight for Alexei Mikhailichenko. He scored 3 incidentally for the reserves on Saturday. And also recalled to the midfield area, Ian Ferguson. Up front, the pairing is Brian Laudrup and Gordon Jury. That's the way they line up here at Fir Park tonight, Richard, as Rangers try to extend that lead at the top to 4 points again. As far as Motherwell are concerned, well, they're desperately needing a victory tonight. If they do win tonight, it'll be a long way back, I would have thought, for Alex McLeish. He was clearly nervous when we spoke to him early on. It's a big night for Motherwell.
Not half. It's live here on Sky Sports. Thanks, Davey. It's funny, isn't it, when you see Mikhailichenko in that Rangers lineup? I have to say, you tend to forget that players like that are around, such as their involvement, which is not too frequent. But it's a vast squad Walter Smith has at his disposal.
They've got a massive amount of players, and really, to be honest, Rangers have had serious problems most of the season, but they keep having this background of players that they can always rely on and bring them in. And credit to Rangers, I've said, they haven't always particularly played well this season, because it has been an unsettled side. But when the guys are coming in like Mikhailichenko tonight, they've all done the business for them. They've never let them down.
Craig Brown's in the stadium tonight. Will he be having a close look at the likes of Charlie Miller, for instance?
Yep, I would say he's probably one that's definitely in Craig Brown's thoughts. There's always a gamble in Scotland when you think you're going to rush young players into maybe the championship finals. But this little lad has got tremendous talent. I played against him when I was at Celtic in the reserves, and he started off as a centre forward, scoring lots of goals, very bright player, and now they've converted him back into this midfield role. But he's got tremendous drive, and he's scoring a lot of goals. He's been in and out the team in spells this season with, I think, shin splints, which is quite bad for a young player. But he's come through it again, and a very big future for this guy.
It's extraordinary progress for Miller, isn't it, if he does make the Euro 96 squad?
Well, it's tremendous progress, but see, Rangers have bought so big. I mean, they've bought the Gascoignes of the world, the Laudrups, and this wee fella has come through on his own merit. I mean, he is there in merit. He kept his place last season, no problem, and the only time he's been out this season is because of shin splints. So it just goes to show that the talent is definitely there.
That's Charlie Miller of Rangers, who, as we said, Craig Brown might be just casting an eye over tonight as he thinks about his Euro 96 squad. Now, what about Scott Howie, who keeps goal, of course, for Motherwell? We saw him infrequently with Norwich. We saw him make his debut, in fact, if I remember correctly, for Motherwell against Hibs in a goalless draw about a year or so ago, and he won that night the Man of the Match award. He's made the position his own since, hasn't he?
Yes, he has done. There's a lot expected of Scott Howie. I mean, he went to Norwich and didn't play very much, being under Brian Gunn, but he's come back to Motherwell and again been in and out, but there's a lot expected of this guy. And Nicky Walker, who's been in the Scottish squads of late, broke his jaw at Thistle a few weeks ago, so there could be a gap in the goalkeeping position. So people like Scott Howie are always going to be interesting, people like Craig Brown.
Well, they haven't scored so many. As Davey was saying, they haven't conceded a lot of goals, have they, Motherwell?
No, they haven't let in a lot
to the keeper?
Well, it's a lot to do with him and the defenders. They've always been fairly strong defensively, Motherwell. That's where they really made their reputation last season. They weren't letting in a lot of goals, but unfortunately they're dry up front, particularly Coyne and Arnott, who have been thorns in Rangers' side in the last few seasons, especially Arnott. So they're missing tonight, but there'll be a lot expected of Scott Howie tonight.
You should say they bought big again, Rangers, this past summer. The year before, they introduced Brian Laudrup to the Premier Division. Is he still having the influence on them that he once was?
Not as much this season. He's had a lot of injury problems again. Not really played a great amount of games. I don't think he's been as influential as he certainly was last year. Last year he took our game by storm. He was just individually magnificent, to be honest. But this season it's been fairly quieter, mainly probably because of his injury problems, but the ability's there. He's got a tremendous amount of ability, and these are the type of players. I think he prefers going away from home at times because his team seems to get that a little bit more room.
What do they do with him? When I last saw it was anything you like, really, but is that still his brief?
Yeah, basically he gets a free role. He can go and play on the right or the left, through the middle. No one really knows where they're going to tie Laudrup down. Anywhere he wants to go and get space and be a pest, then they allow him to do that because he wins matches for Rangers.
Live tonight from Sky Sports, action from the Bell's Scottish Premier. It's Motherwell against Rangers. And it's live, all the action coming up after the break.
Ah, Mr. Johnson! Hello, Mr. Johnson. Hello, Mr. Johnson.
Magic moments are when too hard to carry.
So, Ryan, tell us how you got the third one.
Yeah, I scored 2 and then they gave me the third film free. OK.
This Christmas score a hat-trick of great Fuji shots for the price of 2.
12 cans of Stella, only £9.99. Oh, it's end-to-end stuff this! Fresher drink stores, magic!
I'm going to tell you how it's going to be. With Scotch cassettes and Kuoni. Every year, win a holiday. If you re-record, not fade away. Re-record, not fade away. Re-record, not fade away. Re-record, not fade away.
Win a holiday every year for life with Scotch cassettes.
Play the McDonald's £1.5 million Monopoly game. There are thousands of great prizes to win instantly, or by collecting the stickers on special cups and fry boxes. We're giving away 10 mini Mayfairs. United Vacations holidays in America. Lots of free McDonald's, including Big Macs and Coca-Cola. And even the chance to win £50,000! Big Macs all round! Go directly to McDonald's and play the £1.5 million Monopoly game.
Premium scandalous for your car insurance.
Insurance costs stupid, just stupid.
Absolutely dreadful.
Premium Search, problem solved. Phone soon.
Call Premium Search on 0800 109876.
Premium Search have special arrangements with top insurers, so you can get very good rates without cutting quality of cover.
I saved a packet.
Extremely good value, I'd say.
Premium Search, problem solved. Phone soon.
Call 0800 109876. We're here 24 hours a day, every day.
What's on his Christmas list? A little magic, perhaps? Is he praying for snow or for coal to get one in? And if Cantona plays Santa, will they give him some festive cheer? At Ellen Road, Christmas will only come to the winner between Leeds and Manchester United. It's always a must-win match.
And the penalty's been given!
So savour the atmosphere, marvel at the skills in Ford Escort Super Sunday, live Christmas Eve at 11 on Sky Sports.
Just about ready as well. Fir Park tonight, live football from Sky Sports. It's Motherwell against Rangers. And that's where we're going in a moment or so. Before we do, Charlie, where are the points going tonight?
I think Rangers will get the points tonight, Richard. I think Motherwell will have a go, there's no doubt about that. Big Alec will wind them up and they'll be passionate enough to come out and have a go at Rangers. I just think Rangers have more firepower and they're more liable to score goals. And I think Rangers will get the 3 points.
Before we go, a line of news that's just come into the Sky Sports Centre here. Roy Hodgson has been sacked, we believe, by Switzerland ahead of their Euro 96 campaign. That's a bit of a shocker for him and them, isn't it, to start looking around at this stage?
Not half. I mean, especially being in with Scotland and England, and tremendous occasion and all for Hodgson to possibly finish his coaching career as Swiss manager. But that's a strange one.
It's not to be. Anything else that we get, we'll keep you up to date with during the course of the night. But right now, let's go to Fir Park to join our match commentators this evening, Terry Butcher and Jock Brown.
Hi Richard, very cold indeed up here at Motherwell, but still it's going to be a big night because both sides really need to win this match. Motherwell, of course, at the bottom of the league, and Rangers only 1 point ahead of Celtic at this point. And Terry, if Rangers slipped up here, it could have some effect on the league chase. Yes, it could do, and obviously Rangers do have to go to Celtic in the game covered by Sky Sports on the 3rd of January, so, you know, it could all boil down to that. But at the end of the day, it's Rangers have got a bit of a shadow squad out, but they can still bring in Makarachenko, they can still bring in some good players. McInnes comes in, of course, one of their latest captures, and they've got players still fighting for the places in the Rangers side. So, you know, no matter what team Walter Smith puts out, he knows that the players are going to give their all. You've also got a problem with Motherwell in the sense that they have a confidence crisis. Only 2 goals in the last 8 matches. And no wins. Well, Alec McLeish's got a problem because he's preached the philosophy of trying to play good football, attractive football and everything else, but he hasn't got results so far. In fact, they've only scored 13 goals. So what does he do now? Does he say to his side, look, go out there and play your sort of football you have been playing before and hopefully it'll turn around? Or does he just hope for
possibly the worst game in the world, and those 3 valuable points. You know, it's a bit of a dilemma that managers face when they're at the bottom of their tables.
And of course, no Dougie Arnott, who's the hammer of Rangers in the past. He scored a lot of goals, 3 last season he scored. They scored 2 goals here to win the match by 2 goals to 1 a year ago. And no Tommy Coyne for a long time. That's a severe blow to Motherwell.
Well, I played against both those players, and they are very, very difficult players to pin down, very hard players to get hold of in a game, and they do pop up, especially against Rangers, and score goals. So he has got a problem. He's got Roddy and Burns in up front. We saw them play against Hearts. They did very well against Hearts before. Caused the Hearts defence all kinds of problems, and he'll be looking for the same sort of fighting display, the same sort of spirit and inspiration from those 2 players again.
So there's the setting here, the claret number scarf on Santa Claus there, moving through the stand. The ground by no means got the capacity this evening, and that I think reflects the temperature, and also Motherwell's misfortune this season. It really has been an amazing turnaround to find them holding up the Premier Division at this stage in the season. The last victory was on the 14th of October when they beat Aberdeen by 2 goals to 1 in a very impressive performance. So Rangers haven't tasted defeat in domestic competition too often this season. The last league defeat was the 23rd of September when they lost 1-0 at home to Hibs. Apart from that, the only other domestic defeat was in that Coca-Cola Cup semi-final against Aberdeen when they lost by 2 goals to 1. So they beat them very young in these parts. Well, there's a muted atmosphere about Fir Park these days. The bubble of the last couple of seasons has certainly disappeared, and it will take a really good resounding victory, I think, to turn that around. So these supporters coming here more, I think, in hope than expectation tonight. But Motherwell certainly a side capable today of playing some excellent football.
Yes, they do play some very, very good football. They like to pass it around at the back and trying to spread the play, trying to open up the opposition, but I think deep in the back of their minds they know that if they do give the ball away against Rangers, in particular if Brian Laudrup picks up the ball, then they're going to have a very torrid 90 minutes. I mean, if he's on form, then no matter what team he's playing against, he'll do well, but because he just runs with the ball and opens up the opposition. If Rangers are under the cosh, and sometimes they have been this season, he's been able to get hold of the ball and run the ball out of defence, and the Rangers have been able to get out and obviously mount attacks. But you know, there's always that thought Motherwell should push forward, try and pin Rangers back early on, give their fans here some confidence and some hope right from the word go. But they know that they're very vulnerable on the break.
So these Rangers supporters too were a bit despondent after the European expedition this season, especially these matches against Juventus, home and away. But still leading the Premier Division and looking set for an 8th consecutive title. But for the challenge now materialising on the east end of the city from Celtic.
Yeah, so Charlie said Celtic are playing very, very well. They are a very confident side now. They've been able to get the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis, which is something that the previous strikers there didn't seem to do on a regular basis. So, you know, Celtic really are mounting a very serious challenge.
So let's check again on tonight's teams. The Motherwell team, they're a bit depleted again, although they do have Eddie May and Rob McKinnon back. Mira Drajkovic, a key man right at the back, with Brian Martin's experience, and Greg Denham, a very impressive young central defender, left-sided player wearing number 6 there, with Sean McSkimming, a £350,000 signing a year ago, back in midfield.
Yes, it's a very good and very tried and trusted formation by Alec McLeish. 3 at the back and the 5 in midfield, really, with Rob McKinnon coming back into the side. Him and David Robertson, 2 very, very good left-sided players, are able to get forward and supply the ammunition to their frontmen, and Burns and Roddy in particular. If they can start the way they played against Hearts, then the Rangers back 3 or back 4 should be in for a very hard 90 minutes.
So that's the Motherwell setup. A lot of left-sided players in that side, very unusually. Now the Rangers set up minus Paul